Hey everybody, I'm William, and this is the first video in a 2-video episode on climate change. Climate change and 3 strategies for addressing it. Mitigation, adaptation, and specifically geoengineering. But first, let's take a look at climate change itself. I'm sure you've all heard about global warming, and it's 100% true. The Earth is currently warming at a dangerous pace. Over the past century, the average global temperature has increased by 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit. And while this may seem like a small, meaningless number, a mere half degree or quarter degree can go a long way in messing up our precious planet. And right now, this climate change is definitely doing that. The Earth has actually been warmer before. 6,000 years ago, for example, scientists are almost sure that the Earth was experiencing warmer temperatures, and this has happened several times in millions of years back. Maybe it was then due to different kind of levels in the sun's radiation and how much light and heat it's giving off, or maybe the Earth's orbit changed a little bit, kind of therefore altering how sun reaches Earth and therefore changing temperatures. But this episode of climate change, which is happening right now, is unique because it's happening so rapidly, and for the first time ever, people, humans, are the cause of it. You, me, all of us are the cause for the current climate epidemic. And we worsen our climate and warm it up through our burning of fossil fuels. Look at a factory. This is where fossil fuels are burned. Fossil fuels are resources like coal, oil, and gas, for example. These are the main ones. And when we're in a factory and we burn coal, oil, and gas, there's a fire going on in here and kind of assembly lines and production, and we're burning kind of these resources, and we're capturing energy to make products like our phones, our cars, everything, especially in America, that we desire and that we go out to the stores and buy in our kind of material-crazed lives. But when we burn coal, oil, and gas, when we burn these fossil fuels, we release stuff into our atmosphere. Stuff, I'll break that down. Stuff is, for example, pollutants. While these don't directly affect the climate, they're horrible for Earth. Pollutants can be air pollutants. They can then transform to water pollutants. They can harm animals, our precious ecosystems, even us humans too. And the other main thing we release when we burn fossil fuels are gases, greenhouse gases. We'll say GHGs for short. But greenhouse gases, specifically carbon dioxide, are what affect our climate. Let's imagine our atmosphere, which is surrounding this factory and surrounding all of Earth. Kind of it spans all around, protects Earth from space, kind of the scary space world out there. The sun lies outside the atmosphere. The sun is up here. And the sun's light right now isn't changing. It's not like more sunlight is coming into Earth's atmosphere and therefore warming it up. The same amount of sunlight is coming in. That same amount of sunlight. But when we burn fossil fuels and release greenhouse gases, we start something called the greenhouse effect. Now, this is very complicated and can probably be covered in several video series, but I'm going to do my best to sum it up here in about 30 seconds. Let's say these green dots represent the greenhouse gases. So with all the pollutants in there, here are these greenhouse gases too. And most of them are carbon dioxide, which is in its gaseous form in the atmosphere. And so all these greenhouse gases, which we're releasing in this factory over here, and this factory over here, they're all coming up, and there are so many of them. And they settle in the upper reaches of our atmosphere, and they continue to fill up in there, continuously filling our atmosphere. And so then the same amount of sunlight is coming in, continuously coming in. The sun is not varying, its light is not varying, it's all the same, and it's coming in. But then, when sunlight tries to get out, it's suddenly blocked by these greenhouse gases. And this is the greenhouse effect. It gets its name from a greenhouse, like plants. Like the sun in a greenhouse is purposely designed to come in and then be trapped so that plants can grow faster. But the greenhouse effect on a large scale, on Earth's scale, on a global scale, is not good for growing. It's bad because these plants down here and our people and animals and all of Earth's systems down here are not used to warmer temperatures. So when the sun kind of reflects off Earth and tries to bounce back into space as it used to, it's suddenly blocked by these greenhouse gases, and therefore heat accumulates. The sun is still coming in, and only some of it gets out. The others are all trapped, and therefore our planet warms in this kind of circular oven. And bad things happen with this. As I said, it affects plants and animals, but here are some bad things that happen with climate change. First, temperatures rise. I mean, this is kind of obvious, but temperatures rise affecting humans, affecting animals, and when animals and humans and plants aren't used to higher temperatures, they're not suited for living in those temperatures, they die off. We're losing species, valuable to us that we rely on, and with higher temperatures, the more we will lose. The oceans also warm, so we lose turtles and fish and sea life and corals, which are not able to live in higher temperatures. Next, the oceans and sea levels rise, so we lose coastlines and beaches, and therefore, maybe someone's home is covered. We're not really to this point yet, but this could definitely happen in the future. But oceans and sea levels rise all the time, and so little by little they creep in, kind of tearing away land. With climate change, ice caps melt. Polar bears are stranded, for example, on ice caps in the North and South Pole, which are really experiencing the brunt of bad kind of aspects of climate change. And these polar bears out here, they're stranded, and they die too. Excuse my poor drawing, but hopefully you get the point. Also with climate change, deserts expand, and there are more extreme weather events. So there are more, not just kind of rain clouds, but tornadoes and hurricanes and tsunamis and earthquakes. So extreme weather becomes more common. And finally, with climate change, more intense heat waves also occur. So there are more droughts. For example, this video is being recorded in 2015 after California has experienced drought for a very long time and crops have been lost, which also use a ton of water. So heat waves. These could also kill the elderly or young who aren't used to such horrible heat, but crops dying. But there are 3 ways humans are tackling climate change. And traditionally there have been 2. There's been mitigation, there's been adaptation, and this exciting new, some think exciting, some think scary, this debated new third option, geoengineering or climate engineering, which humans can use to counteract the effects of climate change. So there's hope, but only if we work hard. I'll talk about these 3 strategies in the next video of this segment.